Yay Networks.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish podcast. 1 week sick, 1 week healthy, back to sick again. I'm a parent.
Yeah, no, that's like the new game that we're playing.
Yeah. So now I'm sick. What's weird is I don't get why I'm the one. I always think that I'm in the clear. I thought I'd be the first one always getting it. And now I'm like a week delayed thinking I'm in the clear after Remy gets sick or you and my mom. And then I'm like, I'm good. I'm not good. And this one's been weird, by the way. Have you been reading? I don't want to start off the show with us all being conspiracy theorists because Fran has a tendency, I feel like, to dabble in that. It's a weird virus that people are dealing with.
What is it?
Well, I don't know, but people were telling me my symptoms were so weird. You know, it wasn't like anything I've really felt before being sick. You know, a little COVID feeling, right?
I feel like you always want to have the trendiest new COVID.
I do?
Yeah, like it's like every time that we start feeling a little coughing, like COVID.
Well, no, I don't feel like being sick is trendy. But I know it's weird because it was like lightheaded and dizzy and I had stomach cramps and not the normal flu or cold kind of vibes, you know, really lethargic, like really foggy headed. And I don't know. So it was just weird because I've never felt that before. And now it feels like a more traditional sinus infection or cold or something. I mean, I apologize. We do this and I sound like shit, which is so annoying.
You still sound amazing, baby.
But so I don't know what's going on. But no, I feel so crummy. It's hard. It's hard out here being a parent, isn't it? It's hard being a parent.
In Mexico, we call which we call kids mocosos.
Mucuses?
Like mocosos, like... And you always hear like mocoso, he's a mocoso. Like, and I thought like, oh, that's just like a way to call a kid that it's funny.
Like gordito, yeah.
And then you understand that it's because from like 1 till I don't know when, they will always have boogers. Like they will always be sick. Like they get sick so constantly.
We could dress Remy up as that Mucinex.
Yeah, like
creature,
the little,
that's what I think of when you say that. Like,
the
for little
sure.
Mucinex guy. Those commercials were so gross.
So when I was talking to my sister the other day, it's like, oh, just get used to it because that's going to be the next couple of years.
Yeah, I know. And that's what everyone says to me when I post Remy. I posted a cute photo of him the other day with watery eyes and I did his little Post Malone tattoos. I don't know why. That's like always a go-to for me. I said always sick under his eyes. And my mom didn't understand the reference. I'm like, Mom, it's a Post Malone. He has always tired tattooed under his eyes, which I wonder if he was rethinking that tattoo ever. But anyway, people were like, just wait till he's in school. Just wait. You know, I try to not do that to other parents. Just wait because we're not really waiting. We're all living. We're all in the moment every day, you know, and I think it's just, I don't think anyone means anything bad by it. But yeah, I've realized a lot of things. You realize a lot of things that you tend to do unintentionally or tend to say. I told Fran last night I was venting to him a little bit because I was just in that mood. You know, when you're sick and then you have your social media and I'm still getting, you know, a lot of hate on that other video and I clap back here and there and then I realize I'm fighting with a minor, but they're also telling me that I'm a bad mom and my child's going to be kidnapped. And that creates a whole nother conversation we're going to talk about on the show today about, you know, blurring kids' faces on the internet. But which I have a strong opinion on that y'all may not agree with, but we'll talk about that just because I find it interesting and maybe we can argue on it. But a woman who follows me and is probably listening to this because I think she's a big follower and supporter and fan, but sometimes people say things and I know they don't have bad intentions, but I just want to put this out there to people in general. It is not a compliment and it is not, you know, it does not make a mom feel good when they're constantly told, oh my gosh, your child doesn't look like you. He only looks like his dad and your mother-in-law. And that's what this woman keeps saying to me in direct message all the time. And I know she doesn't.
I see that as a compliment.
Okay, fine. I am not saying that I want my child to look like dad. Obviously, I want Remy to look like dad. But I have like a handful of people every now and then that'll tell me, oh my gosh, he looks just like, your mother-in-law. And that's great. My mother-in-law is beautiful. I love her. And I was like, oh yeah, and then they'll say, and she said to me, oh, I bet if you have a baby picture of your mother-in-law, they look identical. And I think what's funny is we've seen photos of my mom, of me, of you as a baby. Remy definitely resembles us a lot. And I guess my issue is just moms, let's be real. We go through fucking hell to have a baby. It is so much work. So then to just be told, oh, he looks just like dad. I'm like, oh yeah, he does. And he sometimes looks like me. No. She was like, no, he has your hair color. And and I'm sorry if you're listening to this also. I mean, I'm not sorry, but I'm just trying to do you a favor. Like, I don't think you shouldn't say it. Just don't say it. You know what I mean? Just say.
I have a question.
What?
So
I did all this shit and he only has my hair color? Get the fuck out of here.
I have a question. And I think this goes in general. Like, you just said something that is really important to me, at least. And I'm pretty sure our audience. You see a comment, you know for a fact that they don't have any ill intention, and what is upsetting? When you know that someone doesn't have an ill intention.
Well, I'm sure the person that told you that you would look better with Invisalign didn't mean anything bad by it.
I wasn't upset with them.
But you talked about it for a couple of weeks.
Of course.
And you wrote them and you talked about it on the show. So why? But it doesn't, again, this goes back to just because you don't understand my feelings on it. Yeah. Cover those chompers up. Just because you don't feel the same way as I do about something or you don't understand it, doesn't mean I don't have a right to feel a certain way.
100%. That's why I asked.
And the reason I feel that way is I don't understand why, I get making a comment to someone, and I think this happens a lot with women that are pregnant. And I just think as a mother, we go through a lot to have a child, and it's really taxing. It's really emotional. We put a lot in. So I just don't understand what the point is of telling someone that your child doesn't look like you.
I agree with you.
I don't think she meant anything bad by it. I think she feels really bad about it. But I called her out on it because I'm tired of it. Like, just stop. Just keep it to yourself. Like, if you don't feel like Remy looks like me, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, no.
I injected myself with medicine. I spent $70,000 and injected myself with a ton of medicine. And I really went through a lot of turmoil to have a child, and you're going to tell me he doesn't look like me. What's the point of that? Like, how, in what world do you think that that's just like an acceptable thing to say to someone?
It's not all about the looks.
It's like, oh, those pants aren't very flattering. I don't mean anything bad by it, but like, we know better than this. This is uncouth. It's not good etiquette. You just don't say it. Tell it to your husband.
I agree 100% with you.
I wish you had my back a little more.
Honestly. No. I have your back. When it comes to other people that might not have ill intentions and you want to fight them on it, babe, I'm there backing you up. But when it comes to me, when it is an argument between both of us, and you told me, it's like, I know you didn't say that with an ill intention, yet you still get upset. I don't get how that happens.
Because I think that it's just my opinion that sometimes things you have to think about what you say before you say it. I don't think it's a justification. I didn't mean anything bad by it. If someone's feelings are hurt, they have a right. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has a right to feel how they want to feel about a situation. That's just my opinion. It's more the psychology of it. I think that just because you didn't mean anything bad by that comment, it doesn't mean that I didn't maybe take it the wrong way. Maybe I'm not having a great day. Maybe I'm fucking sick and feel like shit and I'm getting shit on by other people. Or maybe you and I aren't getting along. Or maybe I've had a bad day mothering. I think a lot of moms understand that. Maybe dads are just different and you blow it off and you feel better about it. I think it's hard to know how someone feels in any situation because you're not in their shoes. You're not in my shoes every day. You don't deal with the social media at the level that I do. I was looking at your social media the other day. I mean, you barely even post on social media. You're not active on social media. It's a part of my life. And I think it's so funny to me that people will say, oh gosh, like, they'll say to me when I clap back at someone that's commenting something shitty, about me or, my child on the internet, they're like, oh, you're just being so defensive. It's like, wait, so you're allowed to come out here and say something, but when I stand up for myself or I just comment back, I'm defensive or I'm, being combative. It's like, no, I'm just also commenting, I'm just also doing it. So I don't know. I just think I don't judge people for feeling a way they want to feel about something. Sometimes people get highly offended over things, but that's them,
see that.
But I wouldn't say I was like highly offended by it. I just feel why that's what's so frustrating. Fran and I actually kind of got into it this morning over something because he told me I was being combative. When I'm like, I should be able to be passionate and have a differing opinion about something and not be framed as a woman as being combative just because I don't agree with you. We were actually having a kind of a heated discussion about the Alabama and the embryo and and hey, y'all, everyone has a right to feel how they want to feel. I just feel very passionate about a lot of female issues as a woman that's undergone IVF, that's spent a lot of my money on IVF and a lot of pain and suffering going through it. And I feel a certain way about it. And I just get really tired of other people being able to tell women what they can do with their bodies. I don't know. That's just something I feel strongly about, But anyway, I just think that just because I argue or I stand up for myself, I told you this happened not long ago with someone that I'm sort of in business with and a man. And I just immediately now can like recognize the narcissism out of it because the second we got into a conversation that we didn't agree on something, he was like, whoa, you're being very aggressive. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it dawned on me after reading a lot too, kind of about narcissism and the way people are. He was like, you're being so aggressive just because I was literally referencing a contract. And I go, this is what men tend to do to women sometimes. They frame us as being, and I don't even like to be all feminist on it, but it's really obvious that it's like, just because I have passion or I'm actually stating facts, that then we were framed as being combative and argumentative and defensive when, if it was a man and a man having an argument over something, they would never do that to each other. It's just, they would continue to argue. Right. But as a woman, it's like, oh, you're being so defensive. Whoa, calm down. You need to relax. And obviously someone telling you to do that just gets so annoying. I just started laughing because I think as I've gotten to be 40 years old, I realize, now over the years, when I was in my 20s, I would have been like, but at the time I remember calling you after being like, this is so ridiculous, being told to relax when I'm literally referencing a contract and abiding by a contract.
I cannot just wait to have that. You have you seen those crazy people wearing the Oculus or the new Apple Vision Pro thingy?
Well, yeah, but like driving with them or what?
Everything, driving with them, doing everything. Like they can see it's. I've never wore them, but I can see how they can be amazing if you like. That's the only thing you wear, and you have your keyboard, and you can see multiple spreadsheets and everything. But what I was trying to say is like I cannot wait for the one that you put in your mouth, and you talk, and ChatGPT just correct everything that you say.
Why?
So everything comes out flawless. It's like, who are you talking to? Oh, this is a conversation I'm about to have with my significant other. Okay, so it just filters everything up. It's like, you're being combative. And ChatGPT goes,
do you mean?
Jenna, I hope you're having a wonderful day. If not, what can I do to change it? Like it corrects you and you're like, oh, that actually sounds better. Not exactly what I wanted to say, but it's going to save me a little problem here.
I think it would be great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Let me know when you get it.
Yeah, well, it's going to be my other Cyrano project.
Your other what?
Cyrano. Like Cyrano of Bergerac.
Oh, Cyrano. Yeah, got it. Mm-hmm.
Can't wait.
I love Fran uses ChatGPT a lot.
No, so...
But I would too.
I'm always
in your
trying
position.
to improve myself. And if there's a tool that helps me communicate better, and if you learn to use the tool, it's wonderful because it literally makes a clean line of communication.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn,
Speaking of learning new things, Remy turned 2 on Sunday. He has learned so many new things. And I want to have a discussion with the other parents out there after we take a quick break about how you teach your child about body parts with something that happened last night. We'll be right back. welcome back to the show. Remy's in a phase where it's what's that? He's actually up here at the office today. I don't know if you've heard him at all in the background or if we're isolated enough, but Fran was especially, it is concerning. I'll give you that, like about this, as we're recording this right now. This will be a reference for you when you hear this, but there's no cell phone service. And so, very end of the world, we're not prepared. I'm sure it's just, maybe it's nothing, but it's definitely with all of the dystopian kind of movies, it kind of is reminiscent of how unprepared we are for this. And Fran was very concerned, understandably so, about, if there was an emergency that we can't get a hold of Remy, and my mom's watching him today. So they came up to the office with us today, but he turned 2 this last weekend officially. I know we had that birthday party for him a couple weeks ago in Mexico, which was so nice, but we had such a nice time, very low key. Fran made a nice healthy cake. It was just us at home celebrating, putting a toy together until midnight the night before, of course, because that's what we do as parents, and we were exhausted.
He has turned so curious about everything and anything, and he asks and he absorbs, and it's just so amazing to see how he wants to learn. It's really enriching to live vicariously through his eyes, because he wants to know everything and anything, and he actually absorbs and repeats later.
I would never think I'd say I'm jealous of my child, because I've never really been a jealous person, but I feel a lot of jealousy and envy over their brains, because he says, what's that? Now he's in that phase, right? What's that? What's that? What's that? So he's asking questions about everything in the house, everything everywhere. What's that? What's that? And we tell him, he repeats it and he remembers it. If I ask Fran, what's that in Spanish? And he's like, what is drawer? Cajones or cojones? Cajones.
Cajones.
I get the balls in the drawer confused. He goes, he'll say that. And granted, that's one that I remember because of its proximity to cojones. But you get it. I'd be like asking you 10 times, what is that again? What is that again? How do I say that again? Remy, one time, remembers it. What's that? Parking garage. Parking garage. What's that? Dump truck, excavator. I mean, he's known those, but it's so funny. So we're in the shower last night, showering, and that's kind of our routine at night. Fran usually puts him to bed, but you shower in the morning, so I shower with him at night. We play in the shower for a bit, and we have a bunch of toys in there, and we're showering, and he goes, what's that? I look at what he's pointing at, and he knows that I have a different part than he does, but I have my period and I had a tampon in and the tampon string was hanging out and I thought I had tucked it in, and he's like, what's that? I'm like, mama's parts. He goes, no, that. And he's pointing at the white string. Why are you acting ashamed?
I'm not acting ashamed. I'm just I don't know. I'm shocked, not ashamed.
You're shocked at this conversation of a child being curious? I mean, these are the things that happen to all of us, by the way. So then he's he's pulling on his own little penis. And
the day I have a string hang out down there, it's just a different conversation we're going to have.
Trust me, not a dream. I have a horrible period right now. I feel awful. And the string, anyway, and being in there with a wet string, ladies, you get it. It's awful. So I should have just taken it out. I forgot I had it in there. I love how uncomfortable I'm making the men in the room right now. I live for moments like this because it's
I don't know if uncomfortable is the way to do it. I'm not uncomfortable. I'm just shocked.
I'm not even being gross about it. We could start talking about blood. Yeah. Anyway, so
I'll eat it in a sausage.
So then okay. So then
That was the uncomfortable one.
Nothing related to the female body makes me uncomfortable after having a baby. I think we can all relate to that. I don't like blood sausage though. Anyway, I'm trying to tell a fucking story, man. So it kind of made me go, this is a complicated level of explanation, because it's one thing to talk about, and I think you and I have agreed we're not using kitschy names for this sort of shit. We're going this is my vagina, that's your penis. That's what we're doing. That's just kind of what I've decided. But also, how advanced do we need to be with a child? Because a period and a tampon in this conversation is, where do we go with this? Because I start telling him, I was like, oh, well, this is mama's, this is some stuff mama has going on. You don't have to worry about it. But that didn't seem to to appease him. That wasn't enough. He wants to know what that string is, because he wants to pull that string. I wasn't going to let him do that, obviously. So I was just like, I was just like, but you get it. I mean, I think as a mom and then having a little boy, and I've said to Fran, we're going to have conversations about penises. And I think there's so much that I don't know about the male anatomy, aside. We've had this conversation before.
This is a very interesting question to our audience. Is this like a 3 and up or 4 and up, 5 and up conversation? When do you start getting into detail? Because I know it's very important to be very honest and to be very direct when it comes to these type of conversations. But how intricate the conversation has to be by the age of the kid. Yeah, like how deep into this conversation you get when the child is 2. Or when the child is 3 or 4 or 5, or when did you...
Exactly the dilemma of a period conversation and a tampon. So that's what I said. I was like, this is just mama's thing. This is what women deal with. And you're a boy. You don't have to worry about it. This is a girl thing. That didn't suffice. Well, what is that? I was like, well, this is just, something mama has to wear sometimes. That's what I said. I just kind of left it at that because I didn't know. Like, this is something mama has to wear. I didn't go into detail about... I said to Fran in the kitchen, I go... What's he looking for? Does he want me to talk about that it's my uterine lining shedding out of my body? Like, how deep am I supposed to go on this, And it was just...
Well, that's exactly the conversation. We don't know if we have like a young Sheldon in our hands or just a normal bystander, Like, you don't know where he's going to call you out, like, oh, no, you're an idiot. Like, that's not it. You're just bleeding because you're cleaning your whole system, or like, oh, you're right. Like,
So yeah, I left it at like female, grown-up issue, girl versus boy. It's called a tampon.
Because I don't think
know what
even
else to
sees
say.
a difference between girl and boy at this
Not yet.
age.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Well, now he does.
I don't think he does. I think he's noticing that like he thinks that I'm missing. Like he probably thinks that I'm just missing a part that he has. He's kind of like, where's your penis? Like, I don't have that. So then the string, nothing gets by them, like they just see everything. He just like zoned in on that immediately in the shower, and was just
I'm pretty sure we have that engraved in our freaking core, like,
I noticed he'll like look at my boobs sometimes and be like, it's just so funny because there's probably also that conversation. At what point do I stop showering with him? Obviously he's so little, it's not a big deal right now, but I'm sure there's going to come a time.
I'm pretty sure you're like at least 7 years away from that.
I am not going to be showering with my kid when he's 9.
Or maybe 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know. But this is, again, where I think this goes back to, and I'm not an expert at all, but I really am a firm believer in it's a day-by-day thing, right? Like, you just know. You probably know. I feel so much better about parenting now than I did from inception. And I even said to Megan, who works here with me now, and she's pregnant with her 3rd child, and she's great, to ask. I really like her in the way that she's not always giving me like unsolicited advice, but she is telling me like potty training, right? Like she's like, I've potty trained kids at different ages because it just kind of depends on when they're ready. She goes, you know what? Like I did it around 2 with some of them, and Remy turned 2. I have not even looked into the different methods of potty training yet because oh my gosh, you get through the sleep training, you get through all the other stuff. And we finally had this stretch of time that's been pretty comfortable. And now I know the potty training's like a whole nother chapter. And he's announcing his pooping, he's, I don't know if he's quite ready yet. And maybe we can try, but I haven't even
I've never seen him announce when he's going number 1. And that's, I think, the biggest.
No, also before the shower last night, I took his diaper off. We're standing there. I was like, Mama has to pee before I got in the shower. And he stands there and he just like starts peeing all over the ground and he's kind of giggling, And I don't know. I think it's a day-by-day thing. I think you just figure it out. I'm sure y'all will have a lot of great feedback for us on that, though. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get into, I know I teased that I want to talk about something. And I guess we can touch on it because I did talk about it. I don't want to get into some sort of real combative conversation over it.
I brought my glove.
I think we can just touch on it because I do have an opinion.
And mouth guard.
Someone I'm friends with actually posted the other day on her social, and she goes, I just won't understand why people, blur their kids' faces on social media. And it's funny to me because, I've made a decision. I've obviously gotten a lot of flack for it. I've made a decision to share Remy. I don't like overshare everything, but I definitely put him on social media. I have a strong opinion on this. If you don't want your kids on social media, I 100% understand that. And I get it, right? It's a privacy thing. They didn't have a say. You have a lot of concerns. You're worried that they're going to be on some, dark web. Someone's like beating off to your child on the internet. I don't know what you're worried about, but I get it. I do understand that. So don't fucking post them on the internet. Don't post them at all. Why are you posting photos and then putting emojis on their faces? And that's what my girlfriend was posting. She goes, this is like someone I went to high school with. And she's not even an influencer or anything. All she does is post photos of her kids, but they all have like, different emojis on their faces. And so that's what I don't understand is I get it. I think it's a decision you have to make, right? Like, are you either posting your life or you're not, but why are you posting, but you're just like covering their faces? Why would you post them at all? I find that to be very weird. It's like me like, here, I'm posting something, but I'm just going to cover up what it is,
Personal preference, no?
Sure. No, you can do whatever you want. I just feel weird about it. Like, why? I mean, Rihanna's posting her babies. Super celebrities are posting their kids on the internet. So what are they not worried about? That a regular, like, you have 1,000 followers and you're worried someone's like gonna...
If you're worried about your kid being kidnapped, I'm pretty sure Rihanna is not worried about that just because she has an entourage where she travels and try to get to her kids is going to be pretty damn difficult.
But if someone wants to kidnap your children, hear me out. They see your house. They see where you live. They see you taking your kids to school. Like, what is posting them on the internet? So the other issue there is people are worried that your kids are like being used for sinister things on the dark web, that they're on like child porn sites or something like that. But like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand that. Like, just their faces, because it just doesn't add up to me. I get it. People are not going to agree with me. It's a strong opinion. I just don't understand.
These type of conversations revert to the saying that we have in Mexico, live longer, who knows less. And I didn't think about these things until we talked about them yesterday, and now I'm worried about them, and I don't like it. But yeah, like I can see, I think it's a personal preference. I can see, I don't know if kidnappers are kidnapping by catalog. It's like, hey, I want that kid or a kid that looks like that, because that's the baby I want in my life. And they send the kidnapper and send the kid to freaking like...
Okay, so tell me how that works.
Russia.
Let's talk about it. So they see the photo of a child on social media.
I want it.
So then they find, but like, you're already posting a ton of pictures of them. And a lot of people post newborns, and their argument is, well, newborns are fine because they don't look how they look as they get older. So they'll not censor newborn faces, but they censor the older kids' faces. But like, if someone wants to find you, they will find you. That's the whole thing. You're posting photos inside your house.
If they don't know what they don't know.
But people know where you live.
Yeah, but they haven't seen the kids. So the sinister guy that is kidnapping kids to send them to another family or sell them to another family, they don't see their faces. So how do they find the child? Oh, that is the easiest part.
Right. But it still doesn't add up to me. This is what I don't understand. Like, what do you mean? So they see what your child looks like, but when they come to kidnap, either way,
yeah, but
they're going to know where you live and where you go to school.
The only thing I'm thinking right now, and I don't know if I'm accurate on this, but this is where my Mexican brain goes to, is that there is a organized crime that kidnaps kids to sell them to families that cannot have kids.
Okay.
And or porn, sex trafficking, etc. The sex trafficker said, I like that kid. They called someone.
You can see everything about this child,
they
but it's
called someone and said, hey, I'm going to give you $500,000 if you get me this kid. However,
I'm not going to get that. I'm not interested in that kid because I can't see its eye color, but you can see hair and clothing and where they live and their bodies, because all that's being covered is their eyes.
Well, the most important thing is their face. No? Like how they look. They all have the same bodies.
I don't know, Fran. I just think then don't post your fucking kids on the internet. Don't post. Why are you posting them with an emoji? Don't post them. If you're that worried, then don't post your house, don't post your kids, don't post your car, don't post them at school, don't post. Don't share them publicly on the internet, period, right? This meet in the middle bullshit is so strange to me. And I know that it's a hot opinion, but like, I understand the fear. But if you're that scared, don't post them at all. If you're saying, oh, they didn't approve it, don't post them. You're posting them doing fit checks and covering their faces. Stop posting them.
The thing is that I think
It's easy.
I
It's
think
easy.
that
Don't post your
the
kids at all.
kidnapper don't goes like, hey, can you find me a kid with 2 legs, 2 arms, and a face that looks like the little devil from the emoji keyboard?
I don't agree with you on this at all. I think it's so weird because you're still, you may be making money. You're still utilizing it. You're still posting family content. You're posting everything. They see what the parents look like so that now they knew who the kids are with or the nanny
They
or
use
whoever.
that app where it matches the the faces.
But I mean, it's not that hard to find someone. I know that. I get it. You all may not agree with me and maybe some of you do this, but I am just saying
I think
do
it's
not
just about
understand
making it easy. You know,
But
when
why-
you
but-
make it
but explain to
difficult
me.
or making it easy to them to watch, like people don't know what they don't know. And believe it or not, a lot of organized crime, it's lazy. So there's very intricate chains, and I'm not saying that they're
Yeah.
all lazy. They're very smart, but they see something on the internet and say, maybe that's it's like by catalog. That's the one. If you see kids with emojis, you just keep
But friend,
scrolling.
major celebrities, and I know Rihanna's a bad reference because you're right. She has security or lives in a high rise, whatever. But I'm talking celebrities that aren't at that level. People that are very famous post their kids on the internet every day. Models that I follow, other people, they don't have bodyguards with them at all times.
No, but
Why
they're
are they
very,
okay with
but
it?
they're very famous. So you just pointed out, like, I think, and this is me thinking on the spot. This is not something I thought yesterday. It's something I thought right now. So if you're very famous, they're not gonna kidnap your kid because everybody have seen your kids. Like Frederick Eklund's, beautiful kids, but Frederick Eklund has millions of followers. If they kidnap your kid, they're gonna see it in the airport. That's Frederick Eklund's kid. If they kidnap a kid of someone that has less than 200,000 followers, that it's a very regional known. Like if they see Remy maybe in the mall, they can maybe say, oh, that's Remy. But if they see Remy in Chicago, nobody knows who Remy is. I think that is where the fear comes. Like when they can recognize your kid everywhere, your kid is less of a target. But when they cannot recognize your kid anywhere,
How did Remy get to Chicago? Like, I want to understand. Am I with him? Are parents
No,
with him? Is
they
he
got-
not being watched?
When
Is
it-
the whole child trafficking ring following our travel plans? Because if so, then that means they are tracking us on social media. And that goes back to my point. Do not post your family on social media. If this is something you live in that much fear of, do not post them at all. Just because their faces are seen, it doesn't add up, Fran. That's the whole point.
Well, I want to hear our audience, or if we can have
Because
an
my opinion
expert,
doesn't matter enough.
a
Yeah.
security expert on this. I want to hear what is the root of it. And I actually have a good friend. She's an actress from Mexico City, and I noticed yesterday that she does that with her kid, and I'm gonna ask her, what is the reason behind you covering your kid's face?
No, again, but that's not the question. We understand why they're covering the faces. Why are you posting them, period? Why are you even letting anyone know you have a child? That's what I don't understand. Just like, don't even share that on the internet. You know what I mean? Because then it's like, wow, they have a child and they're a famous actress. That's very easy to track down. All someone has to do is go figure out where she lives and watch her come out with her kid one day. And then the child traffickers take a photo of that kid and then it's in a system. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Just don't post it on social media, period.
Okay.
Like, you're the one that's always told me, if people want to find you, they'll find you. In Mexico, if people want to kidnap you, they know everything about your routine. They know where you live. They know that there's a bodyguard, or they know that there's a nanny driving them to work. They know everything about you because they have followed you for a while. And if you say that these rings are that intricate and that advanced and that knowledgeable, they have ways to figure out what a child looks like, whether you're putting an emoji on their face or not. I think the better answer to that is don't share your house, don't share your routine, don't share the school, don't share anything.
That's the dream.
Yeah. And I've chosen to share my life.
Correct.
But if someone wanted to find me, they could probably find me. I just like
We
to
have a
think
lot
that
of weapons
we have a lot of-
constantly
we have a
on
lot of
us.
weapons. Anyway, yeah, I may have lost some of you with that because maybe some of y'all do that. And I'm not telling you that it's, I understand. I do understand. Everyone's
Even
just
the
trying to
nanny
figure
has
it out.
weapons.
But I understand your concerns and whatnot. It's just don't post them. Don't post them, period.
And we have a lot of cameras also.
Okay, well, we ran out of time to get to any questions on the show today with all these hot topics. So Fran needs to skedaddle and take Remy and my mother home and monitor them all day until we have cell phone service again.
So, correct. Like this is something very important that is happening. And I'm thinking again on the go, even if I leave them home, you're here with Wi-Fi and they are there with Wi-Fi. So you guys can communicate with each other.
Right. That's what I said to you earlier. You weren't listening to me. I was like, if we're on internet, we're okay. We can
But
talk.
now we have 2 points that are communicated. You see what I'm saying? If we leave them and we're driving, they're uncommunicated for our commute. I'm just very Mexican thinking,
Baby, I get it. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong to be concerned. It is very weird to be out of service. But then we get here, and what's really interesting before we go, and hopefully we all have internet service again by the time y'all are listening to this, and we all laugh about it, or we're like, it's Russia and it's the end of the world. Yeah, no, but our producer was like, he has AT&T. He lives in, sorry, I shouldn't even give away your address with your privacy. You're like, Jenna, no. He lives a decent drive from here, but he has an Android. Boo. No, he laughs at us. He has an Android and he has AT&T.
No, he's laughing now.
He's laughing. Of course he is. He has an Android and has AT&T, and he has had the best signal, full cell phone service. We're not talking internet, but his entire commute. So his reasoning was, you think there was a carrier update is what you said? Yeah. But it is weird. It's been a long outage. I bet they're all kind of shitting themselves.
I'm just going to go sit.
A carrier update specific
Our
to
producer, Garrett, looks a little Russian.
No, he doesn't.
I'm starting to feel
it is unsettling, but this is a conversation for another day. I posted a stupid Get Ready With Me TikTok one day talking about all of these dystopian end of the world movies, like the I Am Legend and The Last of Us and all of this stuff, being like, we would not make it. We are not prepared for this. And I don't really want to live in that kind of world anyway. I mean, I know we would all fight until we figure, I don't know, but we're not prepared. Fran and I are like, Fran's so paranoid and so worried. But I said this morning, I'm much more of an action. Like, okay, let's say there is something really sinister going on. What are we doing? What are we going to do? Do you want to go to Home Depot? Do you want me? Because, of course, this is so crazy what I think about. Fran thinks about getting cash, and Fran thinks about going to Home Depot and getting some other things, right? And I, where my head goes, which I know sounds crazy.
Sephora?
Sephora?
What am I going to do in the end of the world without my makeup?
I hate the way.
I'm just kidding,
really
babe.
Hate the way that you frame me, considering I wear makeup one day a week. That's so shitty, though.
Baby,
you're like,
babe, you look amazing. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Like we have no money for me to even shop at Sephora, so that's great.
No, that's why let's get cash.
No, I actually think that I would go rob. I would rob the pharmacy
for the Xanax.
No, for everything. For everything. I would go to the pharmacy. I would get medicine because I feel like that would at least preserve us if we're sick. I think, oh my God, I need water. I would just literally go to the Walgreens or 7-Eleven. Y'all are going to see me on the news. Like this woman, there was a cell phone outage and she's ransacking the Walgreens pharmacy. Yeah, I would, because I just feel that if anything were to happen to us and we needed to take care of ourselves, that's fine. You go get cash, because cash is going to get us, all the cash we have in the bank is going to get us real far.
No. Like, I get cash. I get ammo, which I have plenty. I put my shotgun in the car, actually, just in case, Like, you're always you never know where you're going to be or deal with.
Yeah, don't see.
I have water.
Kidnappers are coming to us.
I have a water.
We have a bottle of water.
No, I have a water pack.
A bottle of water. It's gonna go really far. We would make it a few hours. Okay. No. Yeah, I would rob.
I'll make it to Mexico.
I would rob the pharmacy. Yeah, that's the question. Do we hunker down at home or do we try and drive somewhere? Oh man, getting on those roads is dangerous.
I have an all-terrain car.
I hope we don't. I hope we don't have to deal with this. Why am I with someone that's a fearmonger?
I'm not a fearmonger. I'm a
This is what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. Like, I'm prepared. Like, come and get me.
I used to feel that way. I think the approach is
I
different.
have water. I have aspirins. I have weed.
We have one thing of weed. Like, we wouldn't even get that.
I'll get seeds just if we need to start our own community.
That's the thing. Those like end of the world people are really ahead of their time, you know. But then again, it goes back to I do not want to live in a world where, you know,
I don't want to be the last one, you know.
Oh, I don't either. I don't want to live in that world. It sounds like a terrible world. But on that positive, uplifting note, I know we had a lot of hot opinions today. You can give me your feedback. That's totally fine. We will bring on some experts on the show because we owe you that, because we have all these conversations. So we'll bring on a security expert. I think that's great. So you can tell us how I shouldn't be posting my family online. And then you have this whole conversation to thank for why I decided to never share my child on the internet again. Because I will not be the person that puts an emoji over his face. Unless it's for a joke. I almost posted a photo because he was naked the other day. We were FaceTiming. It was so cute, but his little tiny pee-pee's out, little penis, kind of hiding under his belly. And I was like, this picture's so cute, but imagine what people would do. Oh my gosh, I post like a naked photo of my child and I put an emoji over his penis. I wouldn't do the eggplant. I would do something more appropriate,
like
right?
The snake.
We're going to lose so many listeners today, but we will see y'all next week. We're going to do a bunch of Q&A next week as well. So get your questions and opinions in. We'll see you.